Hi everybody, and welcome to my third Pokemon team strategy guide. In this video I'm going to be discussing the team that I used in battles 27 through 39 of my Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle series. So I'm going to do this the same way I have the past couple times. I'm going to discuss everything about the team, including natures, items, abilities, EVs and IVs, movesets, so you can get a thorough understanding as to the strategy behind this team. So again, I divided the team into two halves, the physical attack half and the special attack half. So I'm going to begin this time with the physical attack half of the team. So I'm going to start off with Gyarados. And Gyarados, in my opinion, has historically been one of the best Pokemon out there. It's got great base stats, great typing, great move pool, really just an all-around great Pokemon to have. There's a number of different ways you can use it, but mine is Adamant trained for HP and attack, so it is the physical tank of the team. The item is the Citrus Berry, which will give you back a quarter of your health after you've dropped below half of your total health, which is useful to let it survive an extra attack or two out there in battle. The ability is Intimidate, which will lower the opponent's attack stat one stage upon switching in, which is useful if you're in there with another physical attacker. The moveset from most to least important is a little bit difficult for this just because of the strategy that's behind it, but I would say Waterfall is the most important move. Great power, coverage, accuracy, stab, and a chance to flinch as well, so great move. Then I would probably go with Earthquake for more power, coverage, and accuracy. Then Dragon Dance for getting a +1 attack and speed boost. And then finally Outrage for power, coverage, and accuracy. It does lock you in for a couple of turns and then confuse you afterwards, which is definitely a big drawback, but I still feel it's worth using on this set just because of the way that it complements the other offensive moves that I have on there. So the strategy behind this is you want to come in with it, and normally I like to lead off with it just to try and implement this as fast as possible. And if the opposing Pokemon does not pose an immediate threat to you, i.e. it has an electric or rock move, or it's going to set up to sweep your team, then you just start Dragon Dancing. Ideally, I'd like to get 2 Dragon Dances off, because at that point the attack is going to be high enough that it's going to deal some major damage, and the speed is going to be high enough that it's going to outspeed just about every Pokemon that isn't Choice Scarfed, even with no EVs invested in speed, because the base speed stat is good enough to support that. So you just get your Dragon Dances off, as many as possible, and then you just start attacking whatever of the other 3 moves offensively that will be the best for the situation. Just start using those and deal as much damage as you can until they take it out. So that strategy actually worked very well for me. Not always, but most of the time it did play out very well. So moving on, we have Donphan, and Donphan is Adamant trained for attack and defense, so it is the physical wall of the team. And the item is the Rocky Helmet, which complements that role as the physical wall. Ideally, if you're predicting a physical attack, you would switch in with this guy, and their attack wouldn't do much damage to you, and the helmet would in turn inflict damage to them upon contact with them. They take some damage, so that was useful. The ability is Sturdy, which as of Gen 6 is essentially a built-in focus sash. If you have full HP, it'll survive any attack, which is incredibly useful in battle. The moveset from most to least important, I would say Earthquake is definitely number 1. Power, coverage, accuracy, and stab, so a great move on him. Then I would go with Ice Shard. It has good coverage and accuracy as well as priority, which is very important on him since he is very slow. Then I would go with Stealth Rock to get the entry hazard set up on your opponent. Every time they switch in a different Pokemon, they're going to take some damage from that. Originally, I didn't use that on him, but I decided to give it a shot, even though I don't usually use moves like that, as those of you who follow my battles will know. But I decided to give it a shot on him, and it worked out fairly well, I will say. And then finally, we have Stone Edge for more power coverage and decent accuracy, as well as a higher critical hit ratio, which is always a good thing to have. So next up is Gallade, and Gallade is Adamant as well, trained for attack and speed, so it is the physical sweeper of the team. The item is the Galadite, as you can see, so he is also the Mega of the team, Mega Gallade. Very powerful Pokemon. The ability changes to Inner Focus when he Mega Evolves, which protects him from flinching, which is useful to have in any situation, just in case. Then the moveset, most to least important, I would go with Close Combat as number one. Great power coverage, accuracy, and stab makes it even stronger. You do get your defense and special defense lowered when you use it, but that usually isn't a problem, just because after one of those, just about any Pokemon's going to go down, because Mega Gallade is just so strong. So that's a great move to have. Then I would probably go with Shadow Sneak for accuracy and priority. Good to have a basic priority move on anybody, so it is very useful on him as well. It also provides decent coverage, believe it or not, for Psychic and Ghost, which are two types that plague the rest of his move set, so it does provide actually some good coverage as well. Then I would go with Zen Headbutt. Good power and coverage. Accuracy is good as well, although not perfect. And then a chance to flinch is always nice to have. Just as an aside, I was kind of torn between Zen Headbutt and Psycho Cut on this set, but I chose Zen Headbutt essentially for the increased power and the chance to flinch. To me, those were just two good points that I couldn't pass up. Psycho Cut is a little weaker, although it has the perfect accuracy, but in my opinion, Zen Headbutt was a better way to go, so I did put that on there. And then finally we have Ice Punch, which gives great power coverage and accuracy as well. A small chance to freeze, which usually doesn't happen, but the off chance it does, that would be pretty nice. Normally, I didn't use Ice Punch too much on this build, just because if you do the math, a Close Combat after Stab will actually do more damage than an X2 super effective Ice Punch. So, if the Close Combat is normal effective, that is. So, the main use for Ice Punch on this set is to hit flying with X4 damage, if it's flying combined with dragon, ground, grass, whatever else. So that's the main use for Ice Punch. But it worked very well. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of Mega Gallade. It's just a great Pokemon, very strong, very fast, great physical sweeper. So we're going to move to the special half of the team then, and that is going to begin with Heatran, and Heatran is Modest, trained for HP and special attack, so it is the special tank of the team. The item is the Leftovers, which lets it recover some health at the end of each turn, and that gives it a lot more lasting power in battle. The ability is Flash Fire, which gives it an immunity to fire type attacks, which is incredibly useful for him to have. So the moveset from most to least important, I'd probably put Flamethrower at number 1 for great power coverage, accuracy, stab, and also a chance to burn, which is nice if it happens. Next, I would probably say Earth Power, just for power coverage, accuracy, a chance to lower the opponent's special defense could be useful as well. And then Flash Cannon, power coverage, accuracy, stab, and chance to lower special defense again. And then Dragon Pulse will be more power coverage and accuracy. So I really enjoy Heatran. To me, it's one of the strongest type combinations in the game. With his combination, he has the most double resistances of any Pokemon in the game, so that's very much worth using. Just an incredibly strong special tank, so he was a very big asset to the team. So next up is Helolisk, and Helolisk was kind of the oddball choice for the team, I would say. Very uncommon in battle, but I have to say I absolutely love this thing. It is a great Pokemon, very underrated, and I will explain why. Mine is modest, trained for special attack and speed, so it is the special sweeper of the team. You can see the item is the Focus Sash, which will let it survive any attack at full HP. So very useful for him to survive because he's not very bulky. So the ability is Dry Skin, which gives him an immunity to water type moves, which is incredibly useful in battle. And then the moveset, from most to least important, number 1 would be Thunderbolt, great power coverage, accuracy, stab, and a chance to paralyze, which is always useful. Then I would go with Surf for power coverage and accuracy. Then probably Focus Blast for great power and coverage. Accuracy is shaky, but still worth using because it's so strong and provides such great coverage. And then finally Dragon Pulse for more power coverage and accuracy. So this guy, like I said, very underrated. He has very respectable base stats, very interesting typing, but very effective. And the great thing about him is, since he's so uncommon on the competitive scene, a lot of people just don't know what he is, don't know what he can do. It just catches people off guard, especially the fact that he has Dry Skin as the ability. If you follow my channel, and you will know that a number of times I've been able to get the Dry Skin recovery off with him, off a water move that they were going for, just because nobody really knows a lot about this guy, at least in my experience in competitive battling, because he just isn't that common. But just a great Pokemon all around. I really enjoyed using him, and he was very effective for me. So finally we have Sylveon then, and Sylveon is modest, trained for special attack and special defense, so it is the special wall of the team. You can see the item is the Assault Vest, which plays to that role as the special wall, which in exchange for not being able to use status moves gives me a huge special defense increase as well, which lets it endure countless special attacks regardless of how strong they are. The ability is Cute Charm. If it gets hit with a contact move, the user might become infatuated, which didn't really play a factor much, because normally you wouldn't want to let him get hit with a physical attack, but could be potentially useful if you can't avoid that situation and he has to take the physical attack. So the moveset, most to least important, number 1 is Moonblast, power coverage, accuracy, stab, and a chance to lower the opponent's special attack, which is quite useful. Then I would go with Shadow Ball, power coverage, accuracy, and a chance to lower special defense. Then we have Psyshock, which is more good power coverage and accuracy, and it deals physical damage instead of special damage, which can be useful, giving Sylveon a little bit of an edge over other special walls that it might have to fight. And then finally Hyper Voice, kind of just thrown on there, to be completely honest. I rarely ever use it because there's very few Pokemon that it is the best attack choice for, just a basic power attack. But because of the Assault Vest, I kind of have to use it because I can't use status moves on here. So that is just the only other attacking move it can know. So it worked very well as a special wall, I will say. Very effective with the Assault Vest, and just another great Pokemon all around. So that's pretty much it for the team. I had a lot of fun using this team. It was great. But again, as is always the case, to try and keep things interesting on the channel, I am going to be putting this team aside from here on out. I'm not, to be honest, really sure where I want to go. I have a couple different ideas I'm working on, so I'm going to be taking a little bit of time to figure out where I want to go with the battles on the channel. But I am going to be back shortly with more new battles. So thanks for watching again, everybody. As always, feel free to like and or comment, as well as subscribe to my channel. And stay tuned for more new videos in the future. So that's it, and we will see you next time.